presentation, so I just hope all of you are awake. If not, please get awake so that you can listen to some of the experiences from the contemporary geopolitical point of view. So I'm going to shift from the historical connectivity point to the contemporary geopolitical points and how India should leverage its cultural footprints and cultural connectivity in Southeast Asia. So in my presentation, as you can see, I'm going to talk about the cultural strategy of ASEAN. So I'm sure you all know about ASEAN. There is no need for me to tell you what is ASEAN. ASEAN is Association for Southeast Asian Nations, where all the 10 member countries from Southeast Asia, they are member of it. So what is the cultural strategy of ASEAN and how this is relevant for India and what can India do to take advantage of it? So these are some of the points that I am going to cover. Firstly, I am going to talk about the strategic importance of culture. Why culture is strategically important. So culture is not only historically important, but it also has strategic importance. Then I am going to talk about ASEAN's commitment to culture and cultural diplomacy. Then I will be talking about briefly on ASEAN-India cultural cooperation, or what are the different nuances of ASEAN-India cultural partnership. And then a few words on conclusion. So what are the strategic importance of culture? First, culture, we already have heard of it. Culture can actually influence a nation's history, its geography, its perception, and how the world views it. So it's not only about the nation's own perception, but it's also about how the world perceives about your nation. So that's why culture is very important from the strategic point of view. Then culture also allows for better understanding. So say for example, we are talking about Myanmar or Laos or Vietnam. So if you ask a common person from any of these countries that what do you understand when you hear the word India, they will definitely say that okay, India is about Bollywood, India is about Ramayana, India is about something related to culture. I mean temple, it can be any tourist destination. So all these things are very important elements in culture. And then third, culture is also recognized as a driver of sustainable and resilient Indo-Pacific interconnectedness. We are talking about Southeast Asia, but nowadays Southeast Asia is interconnected with Indo-Pacific to the extent where India is approaching ASEAN countries to leverage its own footprints in the entire region of Indo-Pacific. So basically, when India talks about ACTIS or when India talks about its Indo-Pacific vision or approach, ASEAN countries comes to the core of it. And then finally, cultural initiatives, when aligned with the broader goals of peace, stability and prosperity, it can actually bring in wholesome development in the entire region. So now let's talk about what are the commitments from ASEAN side to culture and cultural diplomacy. ASEAN as a regional grouping is very much conscious about its own culture. So it's not only about India or Indians who are conscious about our culture, but if you travel to ASEAN countries, you will find that even they are very much conscious about their own cultural identity, right? So ASEAN has been working on cultural diplomacy and cultural partnership from I would say that from the beginning of 2000. So there are few declarations, few conventions, few statements and speeches that explicitly talk about ASEAN's cultural diplomacy, and if we want to understand India-ASEAN cultural partnership, it is important for us that we understand what ASEAN thinks about culture. So ASEAN Declaration on Culture of Prevention, COP, it's not Paris COP, but it's ASEAN Declaration on Culture of Prevention. It was released in the year 2017, where there are 6 thrust areas. And some of those thrust areas actually talk about intercultural understanding, culture of respect for all. Then it talks about good governance, it talks about resilience and environmental safety and care, it talks about a healthy lifestyle. and it also talks about the supporting values of moderation. So if you look at these thrust areas very minutely, you will understand that for ASEAN culture is not only about religion, or it's beyond soft power, I would say. Then the second important document for ASEAN is, in the cultural domain, ASEAN Strategic Plan on Culture and Arts. This is a planning. This planning was adopted in 2016 and this will go on till 2025. So it's a long period of time, and ASEAN is doing, it is undertaking various activities, various initiatives to, to leverage on them. So here again, there are 6 thrust areas or priority areas. And what are those priority areas? The first one is very important and interesting for us. It is about increased appreciation of ASEAN's histories and culture. So I think in the last session, Professor Mahapatra was asking that what ASEAN is doing or what ASEAN is thinking, why ASEAN is not talking about India-ASEAN partnership. If I can reword your question in a certain way. So ASEAN is very much concerned and conscious and aware about not only its own ASEAN identity or culture, but also about the interconnectedness that ASEAN can have with all the dialogue partners of ASEAN, and India is one of them. Diplomatic partner. Then this particular planning also talks about promoting cultural diversity, support inclusive and sustainable development, harness culture for creativity, innovation and livelihood, promote cooperation for heritage management, and position ASEAN as a proactive global cultural actor. These last 2 points are very important because India is also talking about Vishwa Bandhu, Jagat Guru. So when we are talking about these, terminologies, we also need to understand what we can offer to other countries and what the other countries can offer to us. So if there is an interconnectedness in cultural appreciation and cultural history and shared heritage, then it would be much more easier for us to understand what we can give to ASEAN and what ASEAN can give to us in return. The next slide is about the institutional mechanisms and key initiatives. Here I will only talk about 2 points. One is the ASEAN socio-cultural community, and the other one is ASEAN ministers responsible for culture and arts. So the second point is important because this is a ministerial level meeting which is being held by ASEAN every year to bring together all the ministers who are responsible for culture and arts. So they come together at one place, they meet, they discuss and they exchange ideas. So these kind of institutional capacity building and institutional platforms are very important if India wants to have its own footprints in the contemporary ASEAN and Indo-Pacific region. ASEAN socio-cultural community is again another very important element of ASEAN cultural diplomacy and cultural community building, because ASEAN has 3 pillars. One is political security, the other one is economic, and the third one is socio-cultural. So for a regional grouping that has embraced culture at its core, that only that is the only reason why ASEAN is a success story. Someone in the last session was also referring to ASEAN as a success story in terms of regional grouping. So because ASEAN has embraced culture in its core, I think that is one of the reasons why ASEAN has become so successful and SAARC is not. This concept is about Brihattara Bharat. I will not go into detail of this very concept, but I will just talk a little bit about this. What is Brihattara Bharat? We are talking about, and what are those priority areas? The first one is very important and interesting for us. It is about increased appreciation of ASEAN's histories and culture. So I think in the last session, Professor Mahapatra was asking that what ASEAN is doing or what ASEAN is thinking, why ASEAN is not talking about India-ASEAN partnership. If I can reword your question in a certain way. So ASEAN is very much concerned and conscious and aware about not only its own ASEAN identity or culture, but also about the interconnectedness that ASEAN can have with all the dialogue partners of ASEAN, and India is one of them. Diplomatic partner. Then this particular planning also talks about promoting cultural diversity, support inclusive and sustainable development, harness culture for creativity, innovation and livelihood, promote cooperation for heritage management, and position ASEAN as a proactive global cultural actor. These last 2 points are very important because India is also talking about Vishwa Bandhu, Jagat Guru. So when we are talking about these, terminologies, we also need to understand what we can offer to other countries and what the other countries can offer to us. So if there is an interconnectedness in cultural appreciation and cultural history and shared heritage, then it would be much more easier for us to understand what we can give to ASEAN and what ASEAN is about Brihattara Bharat. I will not go into detail of this very concept, but I will just talk a little bit about this. What is Brihattara Bharat? We are talking about the cultural ethos. Brihattara Bharat in a nutshell actually talks about the cultural ethos, where Bharat will not forcefully influence or it will not practice power, be it hard power, soft power, smart power. It will not practice power and it will not forcefully try to influence any other nation, but it will try to maintain a cultural ethos where India and ASEAN countries, India and Southeast Asia, and in the larger context, Indo-Pacific countries can co-sustain and co-live together. I mean, they can talk about the broader horizon of the civilizational and cultural cooperation. Finally, I don't have much time now. So Indo-Pacific, I have already spoken why Indo-Pacific is important and why culture plays a very important role in that domain of Indo-Pacific, in the the geostrategic construct of Indo-Pacific. These are some of the key in ASEAN-India joint initiatives, and this is one way an answer to Dr. Sofana's question also, that what India is doing. So these are some of the key initiatives that is being undertaken by Government of India in order to maintain the cultural diplomatic part between India and ASEAN. So here you have the leadership programs for the young leaders, ASEAN-India Youth Summit and Youth Awards, ASEAN-India Media Exchange Programs, ASEAN-India Artist Camp, ASEAN-India Network of Universities, ASEAN-India Network of Think Tanks. So these are some of the very recent initiatives that are being undertaken by Government of India, funded by them. Sometimes they are managed by some of the think tanks like RIS, India Foundation, ORF, etc. But they are very successful programs which are being run. So these are some of the instances which can be shown as ASEAN-India cultural partnership. This is just another extension of the previous slide. Here I will only talk about one important point, that is ASEAN Cultural Heritage Digital Archive. So here ASEAN has also integrated digital technology with the heritage part. So if we are talking about heritage management, if we are talking about managing a tourist destination or any temple or anything in the cultural domain, we need to embrace the digital, the technology. So how we can integrate that, and India is a key partner in that initiative. India is supporting ASEAN in this initiative. Apart from that, we also have people-to-people ties where we have youth and leadership programs and all. I have already mentioned about it. So finally, the conclusion. I have already spoken about how ASEAN is reinforcing ASEAN identity through its cultural diplomacy. ASEAN also promotes multiculturalism. And the core synergies between India and ASEAN in culture, there are three important elements. The first one is culture and heritage, the second point is education and technology, and the third one is Indo-Pacific vision. So if we want to maintain the historic and cultural connectivity in the modern era, we need to think about these few things. And then finally, my key message, the ASEAN-India partnership exemplifies a strategic blend of cultural integration and regional aspirations, paving the way for a sustainable and cooperative Indo-Pacific framework. Together, they champion a multilateral order that is dynamic, inclusive, and future-ready. Thank you.